Okay, so let's get to our guests and let's focus on the main coverage on the back pages. There was no need for any late rewrites, was there, Charlotte, after Manchester City's comfortable night on the seaside?
No, I think all of my colleagues could have had their reports wrapped up by half-time, to be honest. I think City was so dominant in that first half. I think the way that Brighton play, especially on the transition, it invites teams like Manchester City to go and attack them. We saw that they made a mistake playing out from the back for one of City's goals. And what a response it was from Pep Guardiola's side after Arsenal went and won 5-0 last time out. I think the difference in goal difference now is back to 1. So it's really important that they've gone there to a place where notoriously under Pep Guardiola, they sometimes have struggled going to Brighton. So to go to a place where some people predicted maybe they'd slip up and to win so convincingly, it means we're still in for a really exciting last few weeks of the title race. Obviously, City have got a game in hand as well, currently 1 point behind leaders Arsenal.
Jonathan, let's have a look at how The Guardian have covered the story on the back page. As we were seeing a lot, Phil Foden featuring, and it was a seaside cruise. Obviously, Arsenal will have been watching and, well, they didn't get any favours from Brighton, did they?
No, I think ominous is the word, certainly for any Arsenal fans watching, and also for Nottingham Forest, who play Manchester City this weekend. I think, the Brighton game was pegged as one of the fixtures that could trip Manchester City up. But I think if you've been watching, anyone who's been watching Brighton over the last couple of months, it hasn't quite been there for them. They haven't quite been clicking the way certainly they did in the earlier part of the season and under De Zerbi earlier in his tenure. I don't know why that is, whether that's the European campaign has taken a little bit out of them. They've had injuries, obviously, but the way that City preyed on them, the way they picked them off, everyone knows how De Zerbi's team like to play, lots of short passes at the back, and the way they kind of really clinically honed in and turned that strength into a weakness. And if you look at City's remaining fixtures, I think Spurs is the one that will catch the eye. I don't think any of the others have a really much of a possibility of tripping them up, to be honest, unless it's some kind of final day mini meltdown like what they did against Aston Villa at home when they came back to win 3-2 a couple of years ago. I think that's the only thing that can really stop City. Arsenal, it's kind of out of their hands now. The only team that can trip City up really are themselves.
Yeah, Charlotte, do you see that? Do you agree with Jonathan there that it will only be themselves that beat them? And does that look likely because they're just on one of their usual end of season strolls, aren't they?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we've seen this over the past few years. This is the time of the season where they just really start to go through the gears. And obviously, they've not got the Champions League to factor into that busy schedule as well. So there's more time to rest. They've got Forest, Wolves and Fulham. All of those games you'd expect them to win before that game in hand against Tottenham away, which is before their last game of the season. So like Jonathan says, if you look at the fixtures, it's that Tottenham game there. We know that they've not got a good record at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It is that one that stands out in their final 5 games, that if they are going to slip up, it's that game. But if you just look at the way they're playing at the minute, you can't see them doing it. So any Arsenal fans, and I suppose the Arsenal team would have been watching it today, ominous, definitely, like the back page of the Guardian said there. It's obviously in Manchester City's hands, and if they perform in the way that we know that they can, then it looks like it's going to be their 4th title in a row for them.